Hey guys, Marisa at KitchenTableStamper.com. Welcome to video number 2 of 3 in our pick of the patch Stamp-A-Stack. If you guys missed video number 1, you're going to want to buzz back there and take a look. Our Stamp-A-Stack videos build on each other. We batch work using the packet. It's optional, available at KitchenTableStamper.com/shop. When you get to the store, filter for class packets. The filter is either on the right-hand side if you're on a computer or at the bottom of your screen if you're on a mobile device. That'll show you all of the class packets that we have available. You'll be able to see if we have one of these for easy follow along. We cut our paper according to Wonder Recipe number 23. If you haven't seen our Wonder Recipes, go check it out, KitchenTableStamper.com. We have 25 Wonder Recipes. They're one-sheet Wonder cutting diagrams. So we've already cut our designer series paper, and we've embossed all of our card bases with the lovely distressed tile 3D folder. Like I said, we're gonna work these in batch work, so we've done all of that ahead of time. This is the distressed tile 3D folder. It's brand new in the holiday catalog. We don't emboss your card bases for you. It'd be hundreds and hundreds. We can't do it. But I do suggest this one with the pick of the patch. You can substitute something similar that you have, or do some scoring on the background. That's always awesome for black card bases. So in video number 1, we did this thanks so much. The packet, or the Wonder Recipe number 23, makes 4 of this design. And inside we have You're the Pick of the Patch. Today we're going to do this thanks so much. It's a horizontal design, same layout, same size pieces, designer series paper pieces, just a different way to lay them out. Isn't that cool? That's one of the things I love about this Stamp-A-Stack. And this thanks so much inside, this is my favorite inside, You're the Pick of the Patch. And join us tomorrow for video number 3, You're the Pick of the Patch, and thanks so much. So our pick of the patch Stamp-A-Stack has got a Halloween vibe to it, but I need lots and lots of thank you cards. So I'm using the pick of the patch with the pumpkins and the fall greetings. There's also a harvest of blessings, which I love, and cutie pie. You could absolutely switch this up and use Happy Halloween on your tags and some jack-o'-lantern faces on your pumpkins and have really great Halloween cards. All right, let's get started here with design number 2. And you'll go to your class packet. This is what's left of my class packet. It's dwindling after the first 4 cards. And we're gonna grab the packets with this irregular hexagon shape die cut for you. All right, let's take a look at what we've got here. We've got our card bases, and they're already embossed, and our designer series paper is already cut according to the Wonder Recipe number 23. So we've got mix and match parts. And these are 2 inches by 3 3/4, 1 inch by 3 3/4, and 1 inch by 2 1/4, in case you just want to make one of these cards. And we've got a set of those designer series papers for each of our card bases. So let's go ahead and start by gluing those down. That'll give us a nice start. We're also grabbing those irregular hexagons from the class packet. If you're cutting your own, this shape is about 1 3/4 at its widest by 3 7/8. It's the second from the smallest, cut with nested essentials dies. If you're substituting, there's the measurements that you'll need, or the nested essentials. It's the second from the smallest. So let's get our tailored tag punch 2. Of course, you could do this with scissors if you like, or the banner punch. I just love this tailored tag punch. I'll never let it go. But what we want is a little dovetail end, and make sure that you got your paper in the right orientation. You want your bats to have their heads up when you glue them to the card. I'm going to use liquid glue, and we're going to, oh, I've got one more piece. I almost forgot about this great little detail here. So we've got this little pop of color, and I love how you can use scraps to make these little decorative bits and a pop of color. If you've got your class packets, they're already cut for you. from Pumpkin Pie cardstock, and there it is. We did these with the handmade tag punch, and then cut them in half, one for each card. All right, the first thing you want to do is take your swoopy square. The scallopy edge is going to go out, so you're going to put your glue along the straight edge, and then we're going to glue that to our designer series paper. So what I like to do is about 1/4 of an inch from the right edge and just show that pretty little decorative edge. We're going to do those, one for each card. Then we're going to adhere one of these and one of these to the card front. I'm using liquid glue, and I'm using a generous amount of liquid glue because I textured the entire front of my card. We're gonna lay those on there and have a pretty even right-left border and a pretty even top-bottom border. Make sure they run level. Then we're gonna bring in our hexagon shape. And you'll notice that the hexagon shape is just a little bit wider than the designer series papers. So just center that over a little bit low of center. And that's important so that you have enough room for your pumpkins after you add your little chicken lip banner. And the chicken lips banner goes not quite to the top of the card. I love this layout, and I love the vertical version of it too. I hope that you're starting to see the possibilities here with these wonder recipes and the fun layouts that you can get. Let's go ahead and catch up our second copy of this card. We'll get all of our designer series paper and our hexagon on there. There they are. Let's do some stamping. We're going to slide aside our cards. Now, Pick of the Patch is a punch bundle with a builder punch. You want to check out video number 1 in the project sheets because I showed you some really great tips for getting all the parts that you need for all 8 cards with as little waste as possible. These builder punches tend to be paper, internally we call them paper waster punches, because when you punch one thing, all of the other things make their mark on the paper, right? So I did a couple of things that I think will help you out. When you do your leaves, you want 1-inch strips. And then when you do your pumpkins, you want 1.5-inch strips, all right? And then you can easily feed the things into the punch without ruining the guy next to it. So you can see I didn't stamp this one well anyways, but it'll show you that if you just punch the whole thing, you're gonna get a whole lot of waste. So those strips are really important. There's more details about it in video number 1, and there is a picture of how I cut my half sheets of paper into 1.5-inch strips, 1-inch strips, how many I stamped and how I stamped them. It'll really help you get the most out of your paper. All right, so our pumpkin is stamped with pumpkin pie. Our leaf is stamped with old olive. Now we're going to do the stem for our pumpkin. I've got my Stampin' Pierce mat here and crumb cake ink. And I like to use, after I do all the leaves I need for all the pumpkins, I like to use this piece that's left to do all my stems. And so it's a really good way, a really good method to beat the paper eater punch. So we're gonna stamp our stems. We need 2 for each card. And so if we stamp them right in between the leaves, then we can punch our leaves and we can still punch our stems. And I think we just hacked the builder punch. All right, so we got a couple of stems for each card and a couple of leaves. Now we're gonna need this kind of crooked neck pumpkin and the side view of the leaf. Those are not on the punch, but they are really awesome additions to the stamp set. They help you to get really unique pumpkin patches. I've got copper clay ink and old olive ink. I'm gonna stamp my crooked neck pumpkin and this little side view leaf, one for each card. And this Stamp-A-Stack makes 2 of this design. Now in video number 1, we had you cut the liners for the insides of your cards. These are 4 by 5 1/4, and we give you a half a sheet in the packet so that if you want to, you can put a great big die on that half sheet. So if you want to use like your deckled rectangle to cut the inside liner of your card, you can do that. So my sample is just 4 by 5 1/4 cut on the trimmer, and we're gonna put pick of the patch just a little bit low of center. You're the pick of the patch. Next, we're gonna stamp our bird, and our goal here is in the sample to get the legs and the beak, and I'm gonna show you how to get black legs, black outline for the beak with an orange fill, and the blue bird. But if you have a lot of these cards to make, say you're sending a bunch of Halloween greetings, or like I am, a bunch of thank yous, you could stop right here with your bird. Just grab your pumpkin pie marker and color the beak, and you can be done. But if you want that extra little fun detail, you get Starry Sky ink. I'll switch that one out for our tuxedo black. And some of that scrap of basic white from the kit. We'll take our same little bird and stamp Starry Sky. All right, it's time to do a little bit of fussy cutting here. I've got my paper snips. Now, we don't need any of our Starry Skies birds to have beaks or feet. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut underneath the tail a little white border, because our punch does a white border, so all of our items are gonna have a white border. We're gonna cut off the feet, cut a little white border under the belly, cut off the beak right against the blue, cut a little border around the rest of the bird. I'm gonna go ahead and cut these 2 out with that same little white border. Okay, there are our bits. Let's bring our cards back in, and we're going to line the cards with You're the Pick of the Patch. And that itself is really adorable, don't you think? But if you want to step it up just a little bit and multicolor your bird, then you'll take this one that you made with no feet and no beak and swipe a little bit of liquid glue, pop it right over the design, just piece it right back over. And then the last thing I like to do is take a little Stampin' Right marker and black the eye. I have another little bird made exactly the same way with that little paper piecing method already ready. Let's go ahead and add these pieces to the front of our card. The first thing I'm going to do is add a little dab of glue on the stem for the pumpkins. Less is more. You really only need a touch. And then just lay the pumpkin over that dot of glue. Now you've got a pumpkin and a stem that are one piece. I've got some dimensionals on the back of my bird. I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of my leaves here. All right, we're going to now adhere the pumpkins with some liquid glue. Gonna put them kind of at angles, so that we get a nice wide space right here, because now the leaves are going to angle in toward each other. And then our cute little bird is on dimensionals already. Pop that guy on there. Do the same for both cards. Now let's work on our greeting tag. In the class packet, you'll find a little orange tago that's cut from pumpkin pie and a smoky slate tag. We did the tag using the oval duo punch and turned it into a tag using the fun little tago enforcers from the tailor-made tags dies. Got Memento Tuxedo black ink and the thanks so much greeting. We're gonna stamp it to the left of center, and then we're gonna grab a little liquid glue and swipe the tiniest bit on the tago and drop that on the right side. Now our little oval punch is the perfect little tag, and that pop of pumpkin pie is really a fun detail. So that you can thread this tag, you're going to need a 1/8 inch circle punch. It's smaller than a standard office punch. I got my Fiskars on Amazon, and you're just gonna line up and punch the hole through the smoky slate so that you've got a tag now. In the first video, we cut 5.5 inches of copper clay ribbon and 14 inches of linen thread for each card. Now we're gonna fold the copper clay ribbon, and we're gonna lay it on the center of the 14-inch twine, and you're gonna tie a knot. So over, tuck and pull, and then again over, tuck and pull. So now you've got a knot, and you've got the little loop on your copper clay ribbon secure. You're gonna take the left thread through the back of the tag, and then tuck and pull. There's your tag. Now let's get that on the card with a little bit of tear and tape adhesive. So we'll put that on the back of our ribbon, just a nice strip of it, and kind of burnish it into the ribbon. Peel and stick to the card. Now that you've got your little tag greeting on there, let's get a bit of dimensional. I like the edges here for this one. We're going to take a chunk, put it on the back of the tag, position the tag where we want it. Now that everything is secured to the card, it's going to be very easy to make that bow. So just loop, swoop, tuck, and pull. We've got a pretty twine bow. I love the fall feel of that. Can trim the ends just a little bit. You want to, now that everything is on the card, this copper clay ribbon gets just a little bit frayed, so we'll give it a haircut on the card so it's nice and tidy. Got another one already ready for our second card. We've got this fun rustic kind of fall feel going on here. So let's bling it up, should we? We've got these self-adhesive shimmer gems. I love these. They're from the annual catalog. It was very easy to miss them. We're going to add some of these black ones on our cards. You're going to get quite a few of these in your class packet. There's a whole half packet or package of them. So mix and match the colors, mix and match how many. We're putting 2, one big, one small, kind of to bring our design out and fill that space. I love the black on this. And there it is. Thanks so much. Now let's take a look at our thanks so much in the vertical or the portrait position. Same layout or same pieces, slightly different layout. I hope that you liked that little twist. I'll be back tomorrow with the final video in this series. It's this You're the Pick of the Patch card. If you've got any questions about the Stamp-A-Stack, email us, staycrafty@kitchentablestamper.com. And to see if we've got class packets still available, you can buzz over to kitchentablestamper.com and click shop. And when you're in the Kitchen Table Stamper store, you'll want to filter to the class packets category. You can do that on the right-hand side or at the bottom if you're on a mobile device. If you want to pick up the Pick of the Patch bundle or any other Stampin' Up! Supplies, buzz over to Marisa Alvarez.stampinup.net. Click shop. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow in video number 3.